Yeah, you know, I know you guys voted against watching this, but you know what? Let's take a look at it anyway, because it was a 51% no. So that's enough. That's enough for me to be like, maybe. So yeah, this is Logan Paul apologized to me from Coffeezilla. Why not? Why not?
Well, it's finally over.
All right.
Logan Paul apologized.
Coffeezilla, your slimiest lopsided journalist with an agenda, more like an internet criminal.
Oops, wrong video. That was the first
I think Logan should have left that one up. It was pretty based.
response. He actually apologized in another response.
It's a little mad. It's a little annoying mad. Defamation lawsuit. That is happening. This is wrong.
Oh, it's crazy how like these rich people they'll try to like sue people over defamation when they get called out for doing like a bad thing. I'm gonna sue you for this. It's just silly. It's childish. It's just a bunch of like grown children that are like rich on the internet that think that they can like weaponize the law into gridlocking into a lawsuit so they can try to silence you. But it's incredibly difficult to first of all win a defamation suit, but on top of that, he doesn't even have like a claim for it. So
It's wrong.
Hold on, wait a second. That's not it either. Turns out it's actually on his secondary channel. That's why I couldn't find it. It's entitled "Thank You, Coffeezilla." It's the
yeah, it is. I mean, it has 215,000 views, but I didn't even know he apologized. Did he promote this on his Twitch or something? Or, excuse me, his Twitter?
third response from Logan Paul, and it's a pretty big change in Logan's attitude so far. So let's see what he has to say to us.
Coffeezilla is not a criminal.
Oh, that's a relief. I thought Logan was going to hire me. But in all seriousness,
That actually was very funny. That was fucking hilarious. Bro, that was actually... oh, I'm so sorry. That got me. That was funny. That was quick. Okay. That one fucking hit me. For some reason, that one actually was very funny to me. That was so quick. Okay.
this video does have some major admissions in it I want to go through. For one, Logan apologizes to me.
I called him. I apologized. My initial response
Did he actually call him?
to his series was that of fire and ego.
Not only that, Logan also pledges a $1.3 million refund plan for people who bought his NFTs.
I am personally
Well, that's good. Okay, we made some progress. That's actually a really positive thing, which wouldn't have happened without Coffeezilla, in my opinion. I don't think that's unreasonable to say.
committing 1,000 ETH to this, which is about $1.3 million.
In addition to that, he also promises to finish CryptoZoo, which was
Wait, he's promoting a certain amount of cryptocurrency. What if that cryptocurrency falls through? It's like what if that 1,000 whatever it's called only was worth like $4? He said that, I don't know. Maybe I'm
left
just wrong.
abandoned.
And then step 3, obviously finish and deliver the game as outlined in the white paper.
Now, I'll be honest, this is a big change in tone, and
I wonder if he was going to finish the game regardless, or like in the first place. Because I feel like maybe he was just taking his time with it because he was dealing with whatever issues he had with the other criminals that he hired for the loss for his game. But now it seems like he's got a fire under his ass and he's saying he's going to do the right thing, which I can respect that.
honestly, a lot of this is good news. It's great that victims are going to get something back. Logan seems to
But keep in mind, I don't know, stop investing in Logan Paul. It's dumb, all right?
acknowledge his continuous lapse in judgment. He's not suing me, which is also cool. And frankly, this new response is just way better than his last two. I think we can all acknowledge that, while also acknowledging that it's not really a perfect response either. There's still major
Seldom
problems.
is, huh?
Like, for example, many of the victims just have been ignored in this response. A lot of accusations have gone unanswered, and worse, Logan still seems to be playing the victim a lot. So in this video, I'm going to do my best to give Logan credit where credit is absolutely due, while also sharing moments where I think this apology fell flat. And let me start with a positive. For example, I think if you were an outsider who is not affected by this scam and you wanted a reason to love Logan Paul again, I think this nails it. I mean, he's giving back some of the money, he's apologizing. So if you're a card-carrying member of the Low Gang,
Which you could potentially say that you could, if you wanted to be negative in your interpretation of Logan Paul, that he knows that it's going to look good for him, and that's the only reason that he's doing it, because Coffeezilla made him look bad, and so now he feels like he has to do something to slingshot back. I wouldn't doubt it, personally.
you can rest easy here. Logan says he's sorry. He says he's making things right. And I think that's the point of this video, is to speak to his core audience, to tell them he didn't scam anyone. And for what it's worth, I think Logan succeeds here. The problem is, I don't think I or the CryptoZoo holders were who Logan was really addressing here. And this is where the response falls more flat, because he doesn't adequately address the real victims of CryptoZoo.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have expected him to. So, like, let's say that legally, from a legal perspective, I wouldn't expect him to, because if he admits some kind of fault or like an apology, he might be able to be open to be sued by them or something. So for him to be like, I'm sorry. I mean, he could have said like, I'm sorry that the business became complicated in some capacity because of the people I was working with. I don't think that would have been a bad thing for him to do. But okay.
Which I think they're rightfully angry about. And I wanted to spend some time talking about that because, again, they've been the heartbeat of this whole story, and they feel very differently about this response than
scammer gets scammed, am I right?
Logan's core audience does. They don't feel like it's enough. And I want to talk about why. Starting with the $1.3 million repayment plan. Because obviously this is the strongest part of Logan's entire response, actually opening up his wallet. And I don't want to minimize that in this video. I just do want to put it in context because $1.3 million is a lot of money. Unfortunately, the scam was much bigger than $1.3 million.
How much was it?
The fact is,
I thought it was $1 million that he had held up.
Most victims are not going to be made whole by this plan.
Wait, how much was it? I thought that it was $1 million. Why did I? Okay. All right, how much was it then?
Just in Zoo coins alone, blockchain evidence shows $7.7 million was stolen by Logan's team, depending on who you believe. And this refund does nothing for those victims. It doesn't even apply to the holder of Zoo coins at all. You get nothing if you bought this in-game currency. This refund only applies to current egg holders. So they can cash out that NFT for the initial mint price in crypto, which matters sort of because crypto has crashed a lot. So even though people spent $2.5 million on these eggs, in order to refund all these holders at mint price, it now only costs $1.3 million in today's money, which again is nice, but doesn't.
Gotcha. He's refunding the, so like kind of like I said before, he's refunding the crypto, whatever the crypto amount based on what it's valued at now. Okay. I wonder if they would actually take it. Okay, now I'm kind of getting it. Okay. I don't think Logan expects them all to take that refund because he's saying that he's going to work on getting the project up. So I think he's hoping that people won't take the refund, or at least most people won't, and they'll maintain the project and they'll like keep their faith in the project. And this will be a way for him to like stall them for a little more as he potentially actually does open the project up again, or potentially lets it fall through as the price goes more and more down, and then he could like refund them at less money. That's what I'm thinking. I could be wrong. That's what I'm thinking it might be happening here.
Didn't do enough because the Zoo coins were most of this scam. I mean, that's where most of the money was spent. It wasn't just on the NFTs. It was on this in-game currency, which Logan seems to have no intention of refunding. And his response for why is pretty bad. He responds to somebody who lost $80,000 who told him, I hope this isn't just doing what you have to do technically to not get sued. Logan replies with a screenshot of his white paper and later explains to another member of the Discord, I believe there has been a misconception here. As outlined in the white paper, Zoo was created to support CryptoZoo and was not intended to be an investment vehicle. When you sold or bought is not my decision. And look, to be fair to him, there was a misconception that Zoo was an investment vehicle, but it's a misconception that he created. I mean, he's the one who said CryptoZoo was a fun game that earned you money, and how it earned you that money was that your NFTs earned you Zoo tokens. You know, things that were supposed to have value. That was the whole point of the game. So to suggest that these coins weren't advertised as valuable or an investment vehicle is insane, especially since Logan's own team had rules for selling based strictly on the value of said investment vehicle. Quote, rules for selling, no selling until a $200 million market cap. So I think it's fair to say if Logan's own team were buying Zoo coins early, waiting for them to go up in value to a certain level and then selling them, that sounds like an investment vehicle, albeit a very stupid one. So this explanation definitely doesn't hold water, and Logan obviously just doesn't want to be on the hook for Zoo coins. Instead, he just kind of wants to refund the much smaller part of the NFTs. What makes this even worse is that this refund doesn't even apply to everyone who bought these NFTs, because some of these people sold their NFTs at a deep loss thinking that CryptoZoo was over, that it was abandoned, and there's actually a way you could have tracked this whole thing, or Logan could have, and, you know, found a way to repay all the people who lost money on eggs. But instead, this refund only applies to current holders, meaning nobody who sold during the year and a half this project was abandoned gets anything back.
I mean, that kind of makes sense. If they tried to cut their losses and get out of here, I suppose, why would he? If they've already gotten some kind of restitution, even if it wasn't the full amount. I get that. I understand the counter argument is that like Logan handled this incredibly irresponsibly, potentially in a way that he intended to scam people, though I'm not entirely convinced he intended to do that. It is suspicious that he hired a bunch of people that were really suspicious, though, to work on his project with him.
Which is a large percentage of the actual victims, and this is pretty bad. This was brought to Logan's attention by one of the people in the Discord. Joao says, quote, Logan Paul, what will happen to the people who sold everything at a loss when the project appeared to be, quote, abandoned? Will everyone who minted be able to get that refund, or just the current owners? Now, in reply to this, someone in the Discord said, if you sell, you lose common investing knowledge. And Logan replies, seeming to agree with this idea.
Yeah,
which is just kind of a terrible perspective for Logan to have when he seems to be saying that he wants to refund these people. And he's the reason a lot of these people left. And this is where Logan's new apology starts to ring more hollow. It's in all of the follow-ups after the response video, because I don't know if he can help himself from betraying how he really feels about this, because in another Discord exchange, Logan says, please do not put any more money into CryptoZoo, which, by the way, is quite reasonable to say. But then somebody follows up and says, guys, can someone explain what he said with not investing? But rather than replying, oh, guys, I just meant like I don't want anyone else losing money, or, I don't want anyone else recklessly gambling, Logan replies instead, quote, I will no longer be the scapegoat for anyone's financial decisions.
That's not... That's a little suspicious, Logan. That's a little suspicious. Their financial decision was to trust you, and which, by the way, I'm going to maintain was a bad idea from the jump, guys. But if I was the guy, if I was Logan, I wouldn't say something like that, because that would just diminish people, even further diminish people's trust in me. Don't kill me. Ah!
Which is a wild response for someone who's claiming to refund people, because it implies that he thinks he's the victim here. And this is just insane to say as the face of this project, which got everyone involved, because I think it betrays how he feels about this situation. He doesn't seem to see anything wrong with advertising a game that will make you money, it never delivering, millions of dollars being stolen by criminals he hired. And then when all of those people want their money back, he feels like he's the scapegoat. Like, oh, these guys shouldn't have believed me when I advertised to them a fun game that will make you money. It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, Logan had a simple job to do. All he had to do was just come out, apologize, get as much money
all he had to do is come, guys,
back for the victims as possible. But he himself can't help but play the victim here. In fact, I have a third example of how Logan might really feel, because Logan tweeted right before this response. He says, quote, the Matrix is real. Pray you never become its target.
Bro, I find it so ironic that Logan's talking about how the Matrix is real, because it's not real at all. The Matrix is like a dumb concept that Andrew Tate popularized, but Logan also, like, listen, Logan went against Andrew Tate. But the thing is that, like, there's perfect, I am too, Logan, Andrew Tate's a bad person, but understand that there's no genuinity behind why. For Logan, based on saying this, it just appears to me that he said it because he thought it was the socially palatable thing to do. Not because he looked at the evidence and went like, wow, like, Andrew Tate's a really shitty guy. And now he's just making another double back and saying that the fucking Matrix is real and, like, jerking off Andrew Tate's dumb fucking ideology about the fucking Matrix. So the Matrix doesn't exist, dude. Shut the fuck up. All right, you're a fucking idiot. You're a grown man that... You're a grown-ass man that's never had to learn, like, fucking accountability because you got rich young and you never fucking grew up. That's what it comes down to.
Now, I guess he's trying to channel Andrew Tate here unsuccessfully, basically saying, like, I'm getting attacked, not because I did anything wrong or scammed anyone. I'm just too much of a truth teller. I'm just an enemy of the system. That's why I must be getting attacked. But if that's the case, we then have to wonder, did the Matrix force you to apologize? Did it force you to hand back 1.3 million? I just think comments like this go so far to undercut his apology, because it's very clear that instead of actually, like, caring about the victims, he feels like he's a victim. I mean, he's saying, like, oh, pray you never become its target. Who's the Matrix though, Logan? Like, is it your fans who got robbed? Who are the agents coming?
No, it's his fans who got Loganed. And they got Logan Pauled. Because he's such a bad person. He's getting Logan Paul's a curse word.
After you. I know it's not me. I know you're not saying I'm the Matrix here in my $10 million studio. Because after all, you're thanking me. You're thanking the Matrix. Like, what is this response? It's so childish, the way he speaks about this stuff. And again, this isn't to be dismissive of Logan's actions if he follows through, because there is a lot of good that...
I personally would dismiss his actions because he's an idiot, so... I disagree with that. Dismiss his actions.
1.3 million can do. And you know what? If he goes back and he finishes the game, that's also good. But it's just so frustrating when the good that Logan seems to be doing, he's doing the bare minimum of at the last possible second with motivations that seem to be, in the proper context, to say it lightly, irreparably tainted by self-interest. Now, I'm not going to address Logan's other two response videos, which are mostly like attacking me, because Logan sort of walked those back now. He's apologized. He said he was going to delete them. I think he deleted one of them. The other one's still up. I don't know if the impulsive episode's going to go down. Either way, it's just much less interesting now that he says he doesn't, like, mean it anymore. He's not going to sue. So I don't feel the need to publicly defend myself. If you're curious about all the wild stuff that was wrong in those first two responses, I'll put the video live on my Patreon, but I didn't want to release it at the time because I thought there was a better chance at getting a good ending for the victims here if I was a bit more diplomatic with Logan at this critical juncture when he was deciding whether he was going to give money back or not. I don't know if I succeeded in moving the needle, but that was certainly my intention. Either way, now that Logan has responded with his plan, and I've given my perspective on how much I think it's rooted in, self-interest versus a genuine, attempt to help out the victims, I think this is about as much as I'm going to be able to contribute to this situation. I mean, I do think it's incredible that even $1.3 million came of this. While
I don't know. After seeing all the Discord stuff, I don't think it's incredible at all. I think Logan's just kind of like a fucking pussy boy. That's all I think.
Also can acknowledge that it's not nearly enough for the real victims of this. I'll follow up in the future to make sure that he actually gives that money away. But for now, I think most of the CryptoZoo victims, if they're still hungry for justice, are going to have to take it up with Logan in ways that are different than I can do on YouTube here. Which, by the way, I think some of them are. In fact, I just saw a lawyer on YouTube, Attorney Tom. He's going to start the legal process going.
Attorney Tom. I haven't talked to him in a while.
Since my days on TikTok, when I used to be a big TikTok person. Did you guys ever hear this story?
After Logan, using stuff like the arbitration clause in their terms of service. So I just wanted to say, if you're a victim of CryptoZoo, you can check out that video, which I'll link to you if you want, or consult with a lawyer, because I'm sure for the people who lost a lot of money, this is certainly not the end for them, because they didn't get a full refund, and I'm sure they'll be seeking one. But even though it's not the end for them, it is the end for me for now. This is the end of the CryptoZoo saga, and I wanted to say and give a huge heartfelt thank you to everyone who viewed this and supported me throughout this. It's been insane, the level of support when Logan was threatening us, and I do not take it lightly.
I just owned myself,
there is an alternate universe.
I needed to use that item to kill Death here, which you can't see at the bottom left of the screen, and I accidentally grabbed it, so now I can't kill him. So I might as well just take the L. Sorry.
Where if that hadn't happened, Logan would feel emboldened to sue me and probably not give much back to the victims. So it's your support that made all the difference and got the victims at least something. So that wraps it up. Thank you for watching.
All right. Short and sweet. Short and sweet. Cool. All right.
I want Papa Gut to pee on my face, but just as a friend. There's nothing weird about that. I want him to pee on my face.